Our next honoree is none other than Willie Pearl. Willie Pearl, I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of years ago and learning a little bit more about her place in history. We have all heard many times about the famous writings that Dr. Martin Luther King did from the Birmingham jail, and that those writings were not on just ordinary paper. He had to write on whatever he could get his hands on. Toilet paper, the ends of newspapers, and Willie Pearl was the person who actually transcribed what Dr. King wrote and actually wrote the speech that he put on these little bits of paper, and actually, took what he wrote and then made it into the speech that we know, one of the famous speeches that we know today. So we are quite honored to honor her because she has a very special place in history for what she has done with Dr. King and the many speeches that he wrote. But that one was probably, and she can certainly speak to it, that one was probably one of the most famous, taking those pieces of paper and transcribing them into the phenomenal speech that we know today.
And with that, we will have Ms. Willie Pearl come up. Thank you.
Good morning. First of all, I want to give thanks to God for the little small role that I had in preparing the Birmingham jail letter. If you knew who my immediate supervisor was, the Reverend Dr. Wyatt T. Walker, you would understand how I had to go and do the best that I could to put everything together, because he would accept nothing less. Dr. King was a very humble person. He was not demanding with the workload that we had, but this time he was very commanding. Dr. King was very disappointed when he read that statement from those 8 white ministers, criticizing his work rather than supporting what he was trying to do. He thought the church should have had a larger role in trying to get peace and understanding among the races. That was a piece of work that we celebrate right now with a lot of joy and happiness. But I think my fingers still hurt from trying to use a Selectric typewriter. And if you made a mistake, you had to start over. We didn't have the computers and all the technology that you've been talking about. It was the most difficult job in my entire work history. But I am so proud and so thankful to God that Dr. King put that piece together and that we are still celebrating it today. And I take great pleasure in that little bit of, that little bitty role that I played. And I would do it all over again if I had to. Thank you, and I hope you will continue to keep the Birmingham jail letter alive.